you know. And he starts out and he kind of declines during the game, and you know, by the end of the game, like, he's just completely, well, indoctrinated. He's completely taken over, and he's not the same Saren. And I kind of felt really bad for him. I kind of felt like, you know, if maybe he could have been Shepard, you know, if he had made different decisions, different choices, hadn't been aboard Sovereign for like the entirety of the game, which obviously, you know, led to his indoctrination. But yeah, I love Saren, you know, as a villain. Like, you know, you kind of respect him, like, and you get this sense that Shepard kind of respects him, but just disagrees with him, and you know, realizes, you know, she has to take him down, that he's been corrupted and what he's doing is going to endanger the galaxy. But you do get a sense of, you know, Shepard respecting Saren as a fellow Spectre, and you know, as a soldier. And you know, I really loved that. I thought his character was really great. Benezia's character also as a villain, she's very different to Saren. Obviously she's not as big as Saren in terms of a character, but like, I at first you think, oh, you know, she's just evil, you know, she's an evil character, you know, the whole headdress and the whole black clothes, and you're like, oh yeah, she's a villain. But actually, this is why BioWare is so great. They just, the way they write, they turn it, they twists and turns are so good. But actually, you know, as you play, and then on, you know, Noveria, you know, you fight her and you're like, I'm gonna take you down, you're evil. And then if you have Liara with you in your crew, and you realize that Benezia is indoctrinated, and that, you know, at the end she's trying to fight off that indoctrination, and you know, it's just destroying her from the inside out. It's just eating away at her, and she's you know, she's trying, you know, because she's a matriarch, she's, you know, very, very powerful and very wise, and you know, I love that you find out, like, her original reason for joining Saren was not to destroy the galaxy and, you know, bring in the Reapers, but actually it was to save Saren. She wanted to save him and try and turn him away from the path he was taking. And I thought that was, you know, really great. Again, the same theme of, like, you start off with good intentions and then, you know, you kind of corrupted or fall through that. And I felt, you know, the Noveria mission, it, you know, seeing Benezia struggle so much, and, you know, again, the voice actress for her, Martina Sirtis, Counselor Troy. That's all I know her as, Counselor Troy and Star Trek Next Generation. She's done so much voice acting. Like, she's in so much stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, off on tangent. Yeah, I thought she captured that struggle so well, and I really felt for Benezia, like when you had to kill her, and especially if Liara is in your team when you're doing it, and you know, that's really great. I thought the villains in Mass Effect were much better than Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, but obviously I'll talk about that when I review Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, you know, in a later video. So yeah, the villains are really great. So I mean, moving on, the next thing then, obviously the good guys. What was that? I have no idea. Anyway, the good guys. So yeah, let's start with the humans. Okay, let's start with the humans. So Shepard, obviously Shepard, such a great character. I mean, obviously Shepard is different for everybody, and I think that's really great. That's what makes Shepard, you know, there's a root of truth, obviously, but you know, whether you're a femme shepherd, whether you're a male shepherd, whether you're a spacer or a colonist or earthborn, whether you're a war hero or you're ruthless, like, everybody's shepherd is different, and that's really great. I'm not going to talk too much about shepherd because it's hard to review shepherd because everybody's shepherd is different. So I love my shepherd, obviously, but yeah. So I'm going to move on from shepherd because it's kind of hard to review shepherd. But let's move on to Anderson. So I really liked Anderson in 1. He was like a really good guy. Like he's like, he almost comes across as a kind of I see him as kind of a father figure for my shepherd. He's older obviously than her, and he's had more leadership experience, and I love that he's got, the whole way through the game he's constantly got Shepard's back. Like he's constantly like supporting you the whole way through. I mean, when you get trapped on the Citadel and he's like, I'm gonna, you meet with him and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna, get you off and back you up and everything. And he's just really great. I love Anderson. I think he's such a great supportive father figure kind of role. And the way I view it, my shepherd, she goes to him when she needs advice or counsel or a little bit of moral support. And I really love Anderson. Udina, now he's interesting. At first, when Udina's introduced, when you meet the council for the first time, I was like, okay, this guy's obviously a politician, but this guy's cool. He's he wants the human race to have a seat in the council. He's all for human equality, and that's cool. That's really cool. And then as Mass Effect 1 progresses, I just despise Udina. He's just, he's the epitome of political sleaziness, and you start to see he's out for not so much for the human race, but more for like his own political gain, and I just, so many times I just want to punch Udina so much. I'm not a fan of Udina. In my first playthrough I chose Anderson to be the first human council member. Why would you choose Udina? I know that Udina was the canon choice later on, and that he does in Mass Effect 3 become the councillor, but I'm not a huge fan of politicians in general, so I didn't really like Udina so much in Mass Effect 1. So other humans, so Ashley Williams. At first, the impressions you get of Ashley are not good. At first it's like, the racist. Okay, the racist kind of soldier type, and she doesn't come across very well at first, but she grew on me. I started to like her as I played the game, and as you found out about her family history, and what happened with her grandfather or great grandfather, the Battle of Shanxi, is that right? Where this huge humiliation, in the first contact war with the Turians, and you start to understand a little bit more about like what makes her tick, and so I started to like her more as the game progressed, and she's pretty. Ashley's kind of like tough as nails soldier. She's a soldier through and through. She is completely, and she's that kind of like, that she's got that kind of view on the world. And at the beginning of the game, she had this very black and white view of other alien races and the world and humans and war and conflict. But I felt that as the game progressed, her views started to become more complex, more grayer, and so I like that. I did like Ashley as the game progressed. I started to like her a bit more. Kaidan, I don't know what it is. I never really clicked with Kaidan. I know there are some people that love Kaidan and they're all about the Fem Shepard and Kaidan romance, but I don't know what it was with Kaidan. I just never really clicked with him. I found him kind of whiny. Is that the right word? Like a little bit, sometimes a little bit whiny, a little bit weak, and a little bit like, oh, come on, girl, come on, get some balls. Like, seriously, just, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really click with Kaidan. I didn't really chat to him too much. I did a bit. And obviously on Virmire, in my first playthrough, I chose Ashley over Kaidan. So maybe I didn't get to know enough about him maybe in my playthrough, but I guess he just didn't, I don't know, he just didn't click with me as much as the other humans. But generally I thought in Mass Effect 1 the alien races were, I love them way more. I thought the aliens were just much better characters, more likable than the humans. Yeah, for me my favourite characters in Mass Effect 1 are the alien races. So Wrex, oh my god, I love Wrex. He's so awesome. I love he's such a great character. You know, he's Krogan, and you know, I see Wrex as kind of like, you know, renegade. He's kind of the renegade character. You know, he's like just headbutt first and shoot first and ask questions later, you know. And I loved him. I love Wrex. He's so funny. He's just like tough Krogan, and he's, you know, battle hardened, but he's also very complex because, you know, in a fight, you know, having him in your team, in your crew in a fight, so good. Like, he's just like, you want a job done? Krogan it, you know. He's just so tough. I love him. But I liked that how he was different to other Krogan in that like, you know, many other Krogan were just mercenaries and were just living for the fight, but that Wrex was more complex than that. You know, you find out about his background with his father, and you know, the fact, you know, when he told me like he killed his father, I was like, oh my god, that's just like to have to do that. And yeah, and I love that he, you know, how he was kind of like really cared about his people, and you know, and the genophage, and he wanted to, you know, to save his people and restore his people, and how he felt frustrated that, you know, the Krogan species were so short-sighted and that they couldn't see what they were doing to themselves. Effectively, they were destroying, as well as the genophage, they were just making the situation worse. And so I really love that, you know. I love that how he was, you know, a soldier and a Krogan, and obviously fighting is in his blood, but that it wasn't the only thing to his character, that actually he was quite wise for his years and wanted more for his people. And yeah, I really love that. I thought that was really great. Love Wrex. He's like one of my favorite, if not my favorite character. He's just so funny, and he's so honest, and he's just so great. I love him. Garrus, what can I say? I love this man. I love Garrus. You know, he is just great. You know, in Mass Effect 1, obviously they introduced his character and you find out more about him, and I felt like he shined more in Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. He was awesome, but Mass Effect 1, you know, it's setting his character, but Garrus is, you know, he's a very complex character. You know, he joining C-Sec against his father's wishes, and his frustration, leaving C-Sect, I mean, and his frustration with C-Sect and with you know, red tape and bureaucracy and paperwork, and I can understand that, you know, and just wanting to get the job done. And I always think of like Garrus as kind of a paragade, you know. He's like a paragon, but he's got renegade streak in him, and he's kind of like, you know, he could swing either way,